So this film is a lesser known one. It made its debut this year at the Sundance Film Festival. It won the Best Dramatic Movie from both the jurors and the audience. It's slowly making its way across America. So, let's talk about Me and Earl and the Dying Girl is directed by Alfonso Gomez Rejon. It's based on the book of the same name by Jesse Andrews, who also wrote the screenplay for this movie, and stars Thomas Mann, Olivia Cooke, and R.J. Seiler. The story is told through the narrative of Greg, who is a senior in high school, who is pretty much a loner and only gets acquainted with people but never really joins a group of people. And the only real friend he has is a kid named Earl, who is also the same way. And one day, after learning from his mother that his old childhood friend named Rachel, who he was never really close to, contracted leukemia, he is forced into hanging out with her by his mother, and it actually starts to form a real friendship between them. Now, I really like the idea for this story. I think it's really believable that a mother would force her child into hanging out with a kid who has just gotten some terrible news in order to make them feel better. But I think that it has to be correctly done. And is it? Yes, it is done superbly throughout this film. The screenplay for this is great, the characters are awesome, the cast is perfectly cast. Even the cinematography for this is really good. Alfonso Gomez Rejon did a great job for his directorial debut, and Jesse Andrews did a very, very good job adapting his book for the screen. So let's talk about the characters in this movie. From the main characters to the least supporting characters in this movie, they are all great throughout. Mann and Seiler have a really good chemistry in this movie as Greg and Earl. Their friendship works out so well because they're so alike in many different ways. Earl is funny throughout, and the character of Greg becomes more and more interesting throughout, and you really start to feel a lot for his character, and you really feel throughout for Earl. Olivia Cooke does a great job as Rachel as well. Her character is very, very well developed, and she's very fun and interesting throughout. You really feel for her through her battles with cancer, through leukemia, and other very painful processes for her. You are constantly on the ride with her visually and emotionally, and that's just great. Her and Thomas also have a really good chemistry together. As their friendship builds, you become more and more interested into what's going to happen next. And they play their roles so well, it's like they're actually coming to life. Along with this, the supporting cast in this is also really great. Molly Shannon plays Rachel's mom in this film, and you can completely understand what's going through her mind through this difficult time in her life. With her daughter with leukemia, everything's just starting to kind of fall apart for her. Since there's no father figure around for her, this is pretty much the only thing she really has left for her family. And so this is a very dark time for her. And there are scenes in this movie that you can completely understand where she's coming from. And overall, she's great in this film. Jon Bernthal and Nick Offerman are also in this movie, and they do stupendous performances as well. Nick Offerman as Greg's dad is hilarious throughout. He's really the comic relief in this film. There's so much great moments with him in it, but there are also moments where you can see that he doesn't always care about making people laugh or like being the weird one. He really cares for his son. And Jon Bernthal as the teacher in this film is also really good. He starts out as like kind of the cool teacher that people like, but then as the story goes on, he gets more developed and he becomes an even greater character than you thought he would be. Along with this, the screenplay for this movie is also really, really good. There are so many funny scenes in this movie. There's also a lot of dramatic and deep scenes that really make you feel for everyone in the movie. The dialogue between characters in this movie are really great. There are some really just great revelations throughout this entire movie and a lot of deep meaning to it that this is definitely one of the best, if not the best script I've seen from a movie this year. However, I can't name a specific thing in this movie for the reason why this movie hit me so hard. I don't exactly know what it is. It might just be because I'm a high school student and I can understand a lot of the scenes in this movie, but something about this movie just made all the scenes more impactful. The meaning of this movie became way more meaningful, and everything about it was just awesome. I felt way more emotion for this movie than I felt for any other movie this year, and overall, I can't explain why. It's just great. So, with great performances by a perfectly put together cast, some amazing characters in this film, a screenplay that is definitely the best I've seen all year, and just some very deep, meaningful connections in this movie. I honestly can say that this is definitely one of my favorite movies of 2015 so far. Like I said before, Alfonso Gomez-Rejon did an amazing job for his directorial debut, and Jesse Andrews did an amazing job for a great book-to-screen adaptation. I can now definitely see why this movie won 2 of the best awards at Sundance this year, and this movie definitely gets 5 stars. This does have a sort of limited release, but it's slowly being released across theaters in America. If you guys can this weekend, go out and see this movie. See it over any other movie that's come out. This will definitely be the best. Anyway guys, have you seen Me and Earl and the Dying Girl? What did you think about it? Who was your favorite character? What was your favorite scene? Whatever you thought, comment below and let me know. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.